Talking with us now, Paul Andrews, President and CEO, National Western Stock Show, Vice Chair of the Capital Campaign. Paul, thanks so much for your time here today.
You bet, always a pleasure.
Let me just start off by saying, give me a little bit about your background, where and how you grew up.
Yeah, I grew up here in Lakewood, Colorado. My grandfather was a polled Hereford rancher out in Golden, so grew up working on that ranch. And he was a Hereford exhibitor here at Stock Show in the really from 1923 forward until about 1970. So Stock Show was kind of inbred into me as far as the importance and the love of agriculture. After college, I went to work for the Denver Nuggets and Colorado Avalanche for 20 years and ended up the Executive Vice President of Kroenke Sports Enterprises before I came here as President and CEO in 2010.
So Kroenke Sports Enterprises to the President, Mr. President here, and CEO, where was the bridge that made it from one to the other? What led you here?
Yeah, really the combination of knowing that this is really venue management here, right, along with agriculture. And if you think about my upbringing, it was agriculture, and then all my business experience was venue management. And so I really was able to put those two together, and that becomes the National Western Stock Show and Complex.
We're really at a momentous time here for the National Western Stock Show's history. So what does it feel like being at the helm at this time in the stock show's life?
Yeah, this will only happen once. That's the beauty of this is we're at a time where we can reshape the entire complex into something of a complex that you would have done it this way if you'd have had the money to do it back in 1906 and start this thing. Our buildings came up piecemeal over time instead of all at once. Now we have a chance this one time to put them in a configuration that we really would have done, knowing what we know now. So this is really a great time, and it will also allow us to put the stock show in a sustainable business model for the next 100 years.
Also, this is going to be a year-round center, isn't it?
Right, yeah. The center, when it's done, will, obviously host the National Western in January, and frankly, we think when it's completed, we can get to 1 million attendees in just the January show. We think we have the ability to do that. And so the rest of the year, it can become an agricultural, education, entertainment hub for all of Colorado. And that will be a real big change from us trying to just piecemeal in events the rest of the year in the complex that we've done. The authority, which will manage from February to December the complex and the events, they will have a great opportunity to book both agricultural and entertainment things in here and educational programming that we just couldn't have done without this complex.
Right, how wonderful that is. National Western Stock Show, give us a little perspective here. Just how big is the National Western?
It is the most prestigious livestock show in the world. When we started, we showed 351 animals back in 1906. Now we're going to show 15,000 head of livestock here over 3 weeks. The economic impact we'll generate in just the 16 days of stock show is $120 million for the Denver metro area, which is an amazing figure. 29 rodeos, one of the top 4 rodeos in the world. We've got 12 of the most prestigious horse shows in the country. We've got acres of shopping here in our trade show area. And as I said, we are the Super Bowl of livestock shows. So the National Western is the most unique event in all the world as far as combining all those elements together.
Right. All you've got going for you and all that you just talked about, now you have the new campus. If you could give us just a little thumbnail about what that new campus is going to look like.
The new campus with a new equestrian center that will allow us to compete nationally and internationally for shows will be a big differentiator between today's campus. Also, the livestock center with 200,000 square foot of livestock barn space and an arena of about 3,000 seats. That will allow us to not only expand our livestock show, but the rest of the year, the events they can book in there are going to be significant. The yards will be transformed into a 20-acre parcel with removable pins. So when we're using it at the National Western Stock Show, it'll still have that feel of the yards because we're honoring the history that we've had here with the yards. And yet, when it comes February, you can take those down and make that an events pavilion. So the new rodeo arena that will come up here, 10,000 seats approximately, that will allow us to grow our rodeo significantly. And the new expo hall, somewhere between 200 and 300,000 when it's done. That will allow the complete picture to be done and allow the National Western a sustainable business model. So really looking forward to all those pieces, and couldn't be more excited to be here at this time in history.
Yeah, and you've had some pretty good partners here too, City and County of Denver and CSU. Talk about the importance of those two.
CSU really changed the game. They were the one partner that came in aggressively to say, we want to be part of this. We see a link between CSU and National Western, which has been there since 1906. CSU won the Grand Champion Steer in 1906. So that partnership has been very strong. This will allow the campus to do education program with CSU year-round, as well as research on food, water, and animal health. So CSU was really a game changer as a partner. The other partners are tremendous, and they're going to be programming partners as well. History Colorado can bring a lot of things here that can be brainstormed and celebrated, as well as the Denver Museum of Nature and Science. They can become a programming partner to do things that you just couldn't do without their expertise.
Right, and from the get-go, the City of Denver, the mayor, they really had to be on board as well.
The mayor actually changed our thinking. He came in and said, if you all will trust me that we can expand right here at I-70 and Brighton Boulevard, we know you need about 250 acres. Give me a chance to do that. And Mayor Hancock, we owe him a great, great deal for having the inspiration and the vision to do it right here at I-70 in Brighton. And when we open in 2023 with phase 1 and 2 done, I think we're all going to be pretty proud.
So you have tremendous advantages for this new campus, including to the folks with agriculture.
Absolutely. The amount of agricultural activity that will go on here year-round is going to be like no other place in the country. You will have the ability, if you're a tourist from Germany, for instance, and you want to have an experience of agriculture and Western lifestyle, and it's June, you should come to Denver and experience the National Western Center. That is the advantage we have. We're hopeful that we can get some more agricultural focused companies on site as we start expanding the campus and the retail and the office and so forth. And I think that's really going to blossom here in the very near future, so that you can come here and see all of the great agricultural associations in America, and they're housed around here, and they're working on solutions to food and water. And that, I think, is going to really make us unique.
And this is really going to become a crown jewel, not only of Denver and Colorado, but really of the West.
No question. The crown jewel of the West for agriculture, some have called it the Silicon Valley of agriculture. And I think that's going to be an appropriate term when this is all done, because, again, the sharing of best practices is going to happen here throughout the year.
And Paul, everybody likes stuff that's shiny and new, but they also like to cling to the traditions. How fine a line is walking to include both of those in what you're doing?
It's been a thought of ours every step of the way that we have to honor the past while we're celebrating the future. And to do that, you have to take pieces of the existing complex and weave them in to the new complex. And we're doing that at every step of the way. I'll give you the best example. We're taking every piece of wood from the yards that was salvageable, all the bricks from the yards that were salvageable, and we're using them in the new development. And the city has embraced that as our builder. And you will find everywhere you turn in this campus, there will be history woven into the newness and the functionality of the new campus, but at the same time, you're honoring the history of this area with the materials that are being used.
It's a terrific 16-day event, the Stock Show, in January. But say 2024 and beyond, what would you like the Stock Show to look like?
I think Stock Show leadership will start looking at, should we take the show to 22 or 23 days? I don't think that would be a prudent decision immediately upon the campus being open. I think you have to take at least 3 years, maybe 4, of this campus in the new configuration to see how that's operating before you make a decision to go to 22 or 23 days. But I do think that will be on the mind of leaders, because we have enough livestock demand to do that, and we also have enough rodeo demand to do that.
Paul, with all that you've meant to the Stock Show and all that you've done and all the way it's just been interwoven into your very being, what would you hope that your legacy would be?
Well, for me, I'm always been a team guy, and I can tell you that the team and I are going to assure that the National Western Stock Show is on solid footing for the next 100 years. To be here at this moment in time is a real privilege, and it's a big responsibility at the same time, but there's nothing like the National Western Stock Show in the world, so we have to make sure we protect this great historic event and put it on solid ground as we move forward.
Paul Andrews, President and CEO, National Western Stock Show, Vice Chair, Capital Campaign. Thanks so much for your time today. Continued great success, and thank you from everybody for all you do.
You bet. Thank you, Ed.